services and clarification. So clarification is kind of hard when the other party is not present to explain themselves. So do we motion to accept resignation, or how do we?
Yeah, so the
proceed?
board would need to move to accept his resignation, and then we are prepared. We have an RFP ready to go because it's over $10,000. We have an RFP ready to go to launch. As soon as you've approved it, we'll do an RFP and get a solicit bids for responses for new legal services.
Mr. Chair.
Trustee Banducci. Do you want to accept the resignation and then have a conversation, or?
Yeah, we can certainly accept the resignation, and then I would like to move to the resolution.
Okay.
We can do it under either one. What I have can fall under the next action item, the continuous professional service contracts, or more appropriately, I have a space for resolution.
I guess I would just like to say, when it comes to legal counsel, I would just like to relay my experience, because I think it's important for the community to be aware of this. I didn't really plan these remarks, and I didn't really write them down before. But I think it's important that the community knows that this is, if it's happening at the highest levels at NIC to board members, I can only imagine to non-board members may be experiencing a similar experience. And from my experience, and I can show anyone written emails to prove what I'm saying is absolutely true. But when Chair Banducci at the time was chair of this board and I was vice chair of this board, Attorney Lyons would not offer attorney-client privilege, and he shouldn't have, because it was a communal representation amongst all the board members. The attorney works for all 5 of the boards, and at times the president, of course. And well, when I was no longer vice chair, and essentially my vote didn't matter, as fellow appointed trustees made clear to communicate, then attorney-client privilege was invoked by Attorney Lyons, still in the exact same communal representation. And to the point to where I was completely denied my information requests, and Lyons even saying, "I don't work for you, Greg," which is true. He works for all of us. However, he wants to justify that. I was hoping for a clarification, but he's not here. So I accept. I see. Do we have a motion?
I would like to move to the resolution. The resolution will actually address this issue. This also.
You have prepared a resolution?
I have 3 documents that I will share with the other board members at this time for your review and then for your vote.
Okay.
So for open meeting laws, the governor's office actually called and said, if there's a resolution, it has to be part of the board packet before we can move on it. So since these were not part of the board.
That's not been the case before. We were not given the resolution for the property purchases.
Well, they were part of the executive session.
No, we never had an executive session.
Right, but you voted not to have an executive session, so.
Not given to us until we started the meeting. I am giving to you during the meeting, just as it's been done.
If you want to say something, please request to be recognized.
I'm just saying, like, the
No,
governor's.
no. If you want to say something, then please accept a request to be recognized.
I would
We're
like to
gonna
be
be
recognized
enforcing
to
that.
speak. Yeah.
Then say, Chair McKenzie, I would like
Chair
to say something.
McKenzie, I would like to speak.
You have the floor, sir.
So based on the input I received today from the governor's office, they said we would risk being in violation of open meeting laws by not having these part of the packet prior to meeting.
And when did you get this information, sir?
They called today, this afternoon.
This afternoon? At what time?
I think at 3:00. And I said at that time, I was not aware of any written documents that were going to be presented.
What would you think a resolution would be, sir?
Well, it can be a discussion of a resolution, but to actually present documents, I was not aware of that. I was not provided the documents, didn't know they existed.
Well, it's a lot less than a 98-page appraisal that was dropped on us or other
Well,
appraisals.
Let's read it and see if anyone has any objections. And we'll have a conversation and we'll see what goes on.
Find the timing quite curious.
Did the governor's office state any statutes or anything?
No, they just were concerned that it was not in compliance with open meeting laws.
Yeah, that's typical of them. Convenient.
What tricks are left?
So Mr. Chair, I would ask on point number 4 on page 2 of the resolution that because this is a contract that will exceed $10,000, it should go out for bid and on an RFP and not be awarded directly to any one individual prior to the RFP process.
Well, I challenge that because you're making an assumption, sir. The prior attorney was on a month-to-month for years and years and years on a contract signed in the dark of night by the former president and himself without any talking to the board chair, that happened to be me at the time, or anything about the board and how we wanted our representation. There was no RFP. Did not have current documentation from when he had changed firms. And it was on a month-to-month, same as these. So these are at-will contracts, so they'd have to accrue up to 10, but they're not initially 10,000 in value at all. That's not how they're designed. There's no commitment here for any particular number other than an ongoing on a per hour basis.
And I would say, as chair, I can just speak to that our going out attorney Lyons has clearly made it clear that it's the board's choice to who they want as legal counsel.
Yes, he has
So
on multiple occasions over the years.
Only when it's inconvenient, I'd say. Seems that his opinions change. So this would be.
If I may, Chair.
President, you're recognized.
I do believe you are violating state law on contracting. There was an RFP. I've seen the RFP that Mr. Lyons approved, and I can't speak to how that was done in the past, but I can say that there was an RFP and he responded to that. And I think that we are violating contracting laws by contracting without an RFP the services of any lawyer. So I believe that an RFP is necessary. And for the services for the board, if you want to approve, I think it's not best practice if you want to approve, but I think for internal NIC services, we have to make sure that someone meets the qualifications and meets the RFP requirement for contract services. So,
you know, my research as legal services and insurance actually do not require an RFP. And I've read through this and I feel comfortable with this resolution. And I think being without a lawyer, as Mr. Lyons quick actions after the election does not put this board in a good position right now. And I would like a legal representation immediately. And I'm open to pursuing an RFP, just like we're doing with insurance. And it seems at the speed of the insurance, which is arbitrarily 6 months. But if we want to do that sooner than later with both of them, I'm very open to that. But I think the board absolutely needs a legal representation immediately. And I feel comfortable with this. And I'm curious to see how the governor reconciles the prior board's actions and resolutions and late minute document drops, and only now has a problem. So that's very interesting. And I'm looking forward to whatever legal counsel this board has to doing research and engaging with the governor's office to actually produce citations on pursuing up on the person contact that they have.
Mr. Chair,
Trustee Banducci.
perhaps the governor will intervene also and appoint us an attorney. Anything's possible.
He's quite eager to be involved here. So any other thoughts?
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Corkle, you're right.
yeah, being one of the new guys on the block here, if I understand you correctly, did you just say that you are willing to put out an RFP for legal counsel, but that you're interested in having an immediate counsel right now that may end up being temporary?
Yes.
Yes. And how soon could that RFP go out?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
You know, I'd say it goes out after the insurance change. When the
And when will that-
insurance is supposed to come out for an RFP. If you notice, we've lost ICRIM. For
Right.
some reason, the RFP just hasn't gone out. And I've been dismayed at the speed that it's progressed. So I would push it.
The RFP went out, and we only got one response.
Yeah, I know.
So the RFP for insurance did go out, and we got a response back. It took 3 months for that process to work its way through, but the RFP was produced, and we did get a response back. And that's what we're under now. We're being covered by the response from that RFP.
Well, I guess when we have our audit conversation, I would like to pursue past public comments. If you recall, the Redmond insurance person, I guess as it relays a different experience to where I would like to understand more of that process. But no, I'd say for within at least 3 months, I'd be open to pursuing it then. So how's that?
No, I think as the president,
We're talking to Trustee Corbett.
Well, yeah, we're kind of getting off the subject here, but I've never been on a board or anything that did not have legal counsel.
I would agree.
And I stand for any advice as to whether there's a precedent set on that, or if we could safely proceed without legal counsel at this point and put the RFP out.
well,
Mr. Chair.
having temporary legal
President,
counsel.
sure. Trustee Banducci.
As it's been described, again, on many occasions by our former counsel, Mr. Lyons, the counsel for the board and the college is at the discretion of the Board of Trustees. I have given us a proposal here, a resolution to take care of to accept the resignation, to address the current vacancy, to put a competent attorney in place, to request the former counsel to provide the new attorney with the information that is needed in a timely manner to continue serving the college without interruption. I think I have, with these 3 documents, with the contract for the new attorney, covered all the bases, and it will provide us with immediate legal counsel, and we will not have a gap. And I think it's important for us to have continuous ongoing legal counsel without a gap. So I would like to call the question, and I would like us to vote on resolution 2022-03.
The question has been called.
Mr. Chairman, will there be any further time for discussion here?
Sir, I called the question.
Yes, no.
You can speak, but make it quick.
I'll make it quick. I've just, from personal note, I'm very uncomfortable voting on an attorney that I have no experience with, no knowledge of. And being put in this position under these circumstances is very, very uncomfortable.
Noted. Thank you. Okay, for those in the affirmative of passing this resolution, which essentially hires the law office of Arthur B. McAmer, shall be hired immediately is the essential parts that I'll read. And then it also dictates that the president shall take such actions as may be necessary in connection with that hiring, including notification of third parties and college personnel as needed, et cetera. The resolution as written. For those who desire its passage, say aye.
Aye.
2 ayes. For those who vote in the negative, say nay.
Nay?
Nay.
The chair votes aye. The resolution passes.